Hi everyone.
Hi.
Today we're going to make a really brief video just talking about the options of renting, leasing and buying a vehicle in Europe and using that to travel around and explore, and why we chose to lease a vehicle out of those three options. So starting, I guess, we'll start with renting and why we didn't choose renting. So we looked into renting. We got a bunch of different quotes from different companies in different countries, because we had a flight into Geneva and back because my mum lives nearby in Switzerland at the moment. And so we looked into that originally, but we did actually check prices in other countries and other places. But they were really expensive. So once you add the insurance excess and the unlimited kilometres allowance and all that sort of extra things to the quote, and then credit card and administration fees and everything else that they tack on, we found for a 3-month period that we were looking at having a vehicle, it was just going to be really expensive and really complicated, and that they charge fees if you don't bring it back to the same drop-off spot as well. So in the past, Jala and her mum, in their last trip to Europe together, they rented a campervan for a few weeks, and that was good for a short amount of time. It's pretty convenient and easy just to book it, pick it up and drop it off when you're finished. And some companies do allow you to drop off in other locations and they'll do it for free, or they do it at a reduced price, but that's pretty uncommon. The next option that we looked into was buying a van, and that was my sort of first preference. But when we did a bit more research and we looked into it a bit more, we found that buying a van to use it for only 3 or maybe 4 months, it was going to be
a lot of hassle.
Not only expensive to buy a van because you're losing money in your currency conversion, you're having to transfer a lot of money into a foreign currency and then pay someone that amount. It's also the paperwork, the registration, the insurance, getting proof of residency or proof of an address as well for the insurance and registration, which is required in most countries.
A lot more hoops to jump through than what we've had in the past. It wasn't really worth it for the time that we were going to be travelling with it.
Yeah, we had to jump through a lot of hoops in Chile, but they were pretty relaxed in a lot of ways as well. Once we got our identifier number, we just put in our friend's address and that's all we needed, and they didn't ask for anything more. Where in Germany and in other countries where we're looking at buying a van, you actually have to have like an official document proving or certifying that you live at that address. And we could have obtained that because my brother lives in Germany, but to do that is a bit of a bureaucratic process and a lot of red tape. And the other thing as well, like sort of what Jala mentioned, at the end or at the beginning, so finding a vehicle and buying one, finding one that's in good condition, and either buying a van that's basic and then doing a basic conversion, or buying something that's already been pre-converted and hoping that it's mechanically sound and it's been maintained and looked after. But not only that, it's at the end of the trip, because we went over for 4.5 months
altogether.
So it wasn't really that long of an amount of time when you factor in maybe 2 weeks at the start to find and buy a van, and maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks or longer at the end to sell one. Because even with my family over there, it was going to be really difficult because they don't have anywhere, they don't have any private parking that they could fit a van in, that we could have left it there and sort of sold it on, and they do it on our behalf. So that was going to be really difficult as well. So once we looked into it and we saw that there's going to be a lot of red tape, there's going to be a lot of cost involved in buying and the currency conversion, the insurance and registration, all these things that sort of stack up. For a 3 or 4 month period of time, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the hassle and the cost.
Especially once we found out about the leasing, which is the option that we went with in the end.
Yeah, so one of us was put onto the leasing program that they do in France. Came across it, I think, on like an online post or something on Facebook. I can't really remember where we sort of heard about it. But leasing worked out to be the best option for us and the one that we chose in the end. And it's only for French vehicles. So the French government has like a tourist leasing scheme. So it's only for people who don't live permanently within the European Union. So we are lucky in the sense that we are from Australia, but like we're able to go over there and we can travel and move freely around in most respects. So that worked really well for us. The cost was about $3,500 for a little Citroen Berlingo MPV sort of van, and that was for 90 days. So the longer you lease the vehicle as well, so the minimum is about 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And then we leased ours for about 90 or 91 days.
Just over that threshold, that was like
Yeah.
the sweet spot.
Yeah, because the daily rate goes down the longer you lease it. So we found that at 90 days it was a lot cheaper than like 80 days, even though it was a longer amount of time, because the daily rate was lowered once you hit that 90-day threshold. Yeah. So yeah, leasing was awesome. The benefits of leasing, we got a brand new vehicle, literally brand new with all the packaging and everything still on it.
Yeah.
Unlimited roadside assistance, unlimited kilometres, full comprehensive no excess insurance as well, which is really awesome when you're driving in the UK and a lot of places with narrow, sketchy, horrible roads. You know, a lot of those lanes in Europe were made prior to vehicles, so they're all designed for horses and pedestrians and people trying to drive through, including us. So, and they were super chill. So we found that they had a depot near Geneva, which was only 30 minutes from where my mum lives. So we were able to go down there, pick it up, brand new vehicle, sign the documents. We spent a day and a half building a little basic camper conversion, which we did a little tour video of our little conversion as well on our channel. And then yeah, we spent 3 months touring around, which was pretty awesome, especially when the weather was nice, especially in Portugal when it was nice dry weather as well. So that worked out really well for us. So I guess in essence, to sum it up, renting is good for short amounts of time. Yeah. So like less than a month, would you say?
Yeah, definitely no longer than a month.
Yeah, under 4 weeks, renting is probably going to be your most cost effective and convenient. So yeah, if you're just flying into a city and you're staying in that city for 2 or 3 weeks, renting would be the best bet. But if you are looking to tour around for a few months like we did, leasing is probably going to be your best bet.
Financially and a lot easier as well.
Yeah. But if you're looking at doing a longer trip, 6 months or a year or longer, then buying and going through all that process will be worth it then. Because there are hoops to jump through, but it's not impossible. There are fees to pay, but they kind of will balance out over time. So yeah, if you're doing a longer trip, then buying will be your best bet. And buying either, it depends on what languages you speak, but buying in the UK is pretty easy and straightforward, except for the steering wheel being on the right hand side of the vehicle.
But you do get used to that.
Yeah, but you do get used to it. Yeah, because we drove our French vehicle in the UK and Ireland for about 4 weeks, and yeah, by the end we were accustomed to it, especially when you have 2 people, so you can have someone help you when you're leaving the intersection. So buying in the UK is probably going to be easiest for most English-speaking people. The alternative, if you're up for the extra little bit of challenge, is buying in Germany.
Yeah,
just because
the easiest option.
Yeah, the vehicles there are pretty good quality and they're reasonably well priced, and they have lots of really cool vans, you know, like the Mercedes Sprinter and the Volkswagen Crafters and the Transporters.
Conditions.
Yeah, they're in pretty good condition and they're pretty well priced, so that would be a good option as well. So yeah, rent for the short term, lease for the medium term, and buy for long term travel in Europe. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. We're looking to do a few more videos in the future when we have some time off together. So yeah, we went for a little skate and a little swim this morning, and we figured that we'll sit down and do another little video and add to this, and hopefully anyone who's looking at doing a trip over in Europe, maybe in the next summer, this will help you and maybe give you a bit of a shortcut on that research. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.